So, I've been thinking a lot about an article I read recently in the wake of all of the abortion debate. I recently read an article from somebody who he was a product of his mother being raped. And what his comments or his conversation was about those who are opposing abortion are pretty much saying, unless the case of a rape. And of course, then you have pro-abortion, and that's one of the reasons, I guess, to be advocating for it. So I was thinking about what this guy said. So basically, had his mom chosen to abort him because she was raped, obviously he wouldn't be alive. And the reason I thought about this so much is because this is the same story for my family. My grandmother, my biological paternal grandmother, was raped and conceived my father. She placed my dad up for adoption and selected parents that she thought would be good for him. And I've recently reconnected with that side of my family, and grandmother recently died, and I didn't have the opportunity to meet her, but I just have such a profound, deep admiration and respect for her because really and truly so many people do make the choice to have abortions when they conceive after rape. If my grandmother had made that choice, I obviously wouldn't be here, nor would my 5 beautiful daughters, my sister, my brother, several nieces, 2 nieces and several nephews. The effects are far-reaching, and although I know it's easy to think, well, except for in the case of abortion, but that kind of makes it seem like those children are less valuable, and quite honestly, I just don't believe that they are. We all have a purpose, and we're all put here for a reason. My own experience with abortion, very difficult choice I made several years ago after already having 2 children. I was 21, I want to say, 22, maybe even 23, and I already had 2 children out of wedlock, and their fathers were not around, and I found out that my fiance at the time was a compulsive liar, and I didn't want to continue the relationship with him. The decision to have an abortion came because I was afraid I couldn't care for another child. I honestly look back at it now and think I was probably terrified of what people would say or think about me. Some of my family members had already told my parents they should disown me after my second one, out of wedlock. And there was a fear of what would happen. I guess I was afraid. It was fear. And so I can tell you that when I went to the clinic, I was in hysterics. I had to drive 3 hours, and I was crying hysterically the whole time. When I got to the clinic, I remember the nurse telling me, if you don't calm down, the doctor, is not going to complete this procedure. And it's really a life-changing event, and I have regretted my decision from the beginning, right away. I think often of the child that I chose to terminate. Quite honestly, for several years was a very heavy burden on my soul, and it never sat right with me. I never felt good about it. And when I see people holding up signs that say my abortion was fantastic, I am just in awe, because I know how I felt and how tough the choice was, and of course how much I have regretted it ever since. I have made amends for that decision, and like I said, I think so much about my grandma and the decision that she made and the effect that it had on there are so many people who are alive today because of that very selfless choice that she made. I know the debate goes on, and nothing I say will change that fact. But I guess I just wanted to share that with you, because it's, like I said, something I've been thinking about for a while.